Sasada-san! I'm kidding now. She'll be back. She's too good of a character. Well, good morning, everyone. We're here for the final part of the case. Let us begin. By waking up Sholmes. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. Rest assured, I shall put everything in place exactly as we've discussed. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell and Godspeed, my dear madame. Oh, looks like she's planning something behind the scenes to help me. Very, very good starting today with the to be continued. Wow, this is redundant. When I awoke the following morning, Susanoo was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than the last, one that I would remember for the rest of my days. 17th April, 9:32 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, in the fancy dress. Sasato, or however you say it, I don't know. Miss Sasato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Sasato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. Hey! How are you feeling, Guinea? Did you manage to sleep? Meow. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Ah, Waggy. Great way to show your support, kitty. Let him have a nose around. What harm can it do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Bruno, Guinea? Well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then. I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh. The bad news was a weather report. So I hope Susie made her train to Dover and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, that's good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkey's really. If only good news cancels out the bad. And look, this trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in Pick Purse's blunder, see? How do you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. I can't because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Bruno will soon show everyone that the headline is nonsense. I will. And then in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be Disgusting discharge diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Bruno? Oh, yes. Let's hope so. Tyson, how you going? Why you stream at 7 p.m. my time? That's like really early for you, right? It's 10 a.m. for me, but you gotta realize I have a career. And so I'm used to waking up this early. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's just like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. How's it going, Tyson? Good luck in there. I'll do what I can. Huh? Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest. But, thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Kitty? Well, I was wondering is all, about Sholmes. Did they fix him up alright? Going good. Good to hear. Yes. The operation was a great success. Also, Tyson, if you say anything about the Sonic movie, I will literally ban you. Not because I'm being mean, but because literally I haven't seen it yet because it takes a little bit to come to Japan. Or at least it comes on home release somewhere and then I could like VPN it there and then watch it. I will let you know when I watch it and then we can talk all about it. But right now, talk about Sonic the movie, banned. Yes, the operation was a great success. But Hurley still hasn't come around yet. Also talk about Batman too. Eh? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No, Society, no, Mr. Show. It's all down to me today to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, Counsel for Defense, the trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris. Lead the way, Bruno. I imagine during this trial, that paint gun, that differential blood color, is gonna hand us the whole case. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from the start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. If I learnt anything from my great friend, it's that with all brand new judges. Wait a minute! No, is that who I thought it was? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. This game does end, and actually we are very close to the ending of the first of 2 games. When they released Creative Attorney Chronicles, it really was 2 games in 1. So games typically go around for 5 cases, which adds up to about 25 hours, depending on how fast you read. I now call upon counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Prosecution is ready. The defense is ready. Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, remind me how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the Public Prosecution Service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. And there are some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this. Erratic behavior? In what might one describe as your former late life 5 years in the past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today, you chose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, Counsel. What do you think about Kingdom Hearts 4? I think whatever their budget was went fucking up. Like, went way the hell up. I don't have any opinion on it since I don't play the Kingdom Hearts series. Maybe with enough support I will. But, I don't know. I was a Disney kid. Well, I wasn't a Disney teenager, and maybe that's why I didn't get into it. There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. He means McGildred, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. The Von Karma of this game. I honestly feel like this isn't a Von Karma. Yeah, I just about managed to work that out, thank you. how's this for support? Do it, see, no balls. Okay. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. I'm talking like if I suddenly shot up to like 10 subscribers, I'd buy it, but there's a lot of stuff I have to do in Japan. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as its allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confident tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese. Really? What? Did he really just say that? He means you now, Runo. I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. Total betrayal, what are you talking about? I feel like he's still the regular anti-lawyer of the game. I feel like Von Karma was a surprise to see someone so experienced, if that makes sense. That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zeek's eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zeeks. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. How is this fucking possible? Look at this shit. That is not at random. Literally, there's only one new guy. Like, is she a telegrammer now? Never mind her. What's with the little mouse? Oh, the guy on the far right. And what is in this guy's head in third from the row? And why is the maid back? And why is the guy who literally was an accessory to murder in... Never mind. Former lieutenant of the British Army here. Don't you know? Tips like me were born ready. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything, and I'm ready for it. Hopefully this guy can help shed some light on the 2 photos that were beside each other. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. But could I have? Oh no. Oh no. Is someone like have some gauze or like a scalpel? Just wait, is this guy in charge of the surgery that our Sherlock Holmes is in? Woman indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take a bus to Crystal Tower, please. Is something wrong, Runo? Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, do they? Wait, is a third guy... But this is quite strange. The juror chosen random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. So I've been led to believe. But something tells me I'm being duped. Very well, now, Lord Van Zeeks. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of this case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with the word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Wiggybank, proprietor of a pawn shop at Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents a photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near-instant death. Moving on from the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. I need to know if this is from the front or back. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. A crime scene photograph has been entered in the court record. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. We need to know the proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry. A door to the main shop was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windybank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, is it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums of the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The girl's guilty as hell. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. Prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious. After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pickpurse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zeeks. At once, my lord. The crime scene floor plan has been entered into the court record. Windybank's revolver has been entered into the courtroom record. This isn't good. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Runo. We're going to check some things here. Never looked down the muzzle of a gun, but in this case we should. This is Mr. Windybank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Mr. Windybank always used to keep this gun to hold onto his hand on his shop counter. Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded. I understand. That's right, to keep all the pawned articles that were in his car safe. But one bullet was fired that night and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe? We also need to point out where the calendar was. As for the photo, he was definitely shot from the back because you can see the residue there. Right? And so when you shoot somebody, there's normally an entrance and an exit gunshot wound. He was probably shot, I think he was shot from the door in some way, shape, or form, but the problem is, does it line up? Maybe the guy was really tall, or maybe he was shot in some way unbefitting. He's a very short guy as well. Time of death, 1 to 1:30. Reporting party, Runosuke Naruhodo. Single bullet wound from the upper half of the Wyndham's back. No visible signs. Instant death from the bullet wound to the heart. The bullet entered the body from the back on a gently rising diagonal trajectory. So he was shot from behind going up. Interesting. I think that's because it has. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on the 16th of April of this year. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is baddie, professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation is same as him. Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. We what they call the 3 Skulkin brothers. 3? Like, what do you expect out of them? What are you looking at me like that for? Don't let me with you, lot. Core blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we were going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have. So we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And then last night we came across you. The very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? Is Nash. That a very old spit of him. So we decided there what we was going to do. We was going to call you Big Bruv Skulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Sulky Skulkin. And that's before you'd run out of chips. Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but my name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand. The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on a suspicion of theft. Humph. Thieves are they, these three? No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me with this lot. 2 nights ago, these 2 brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle, and in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say. What an extraordinary coincidence. Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize a pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. Order, order. The various trespasses of these brothers are not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on a straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Happy to. Cause the Skulkin's never skulkin'. Oh my god. Quit looking at him! Get out of it. Here we go. Illegal entry. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours and the gas door was ajar, you see. Let's go. This may be me reaching, but this left brother has a different button. We walked down Baker Street in the small hours and the gas door was ajar, see? It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, core, blimey, love me, we had to go from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. I need to check something real quick. Not that. I need to see where the exit gunshot wound was. The door providing access to the storeroom was from the main shop and was indeed locked from the inside. And within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel. Yes. What's the matter, Runo? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by the pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense. I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Illegal entry. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours at the gas door was ajar, see? But it wasn't. The lights are on. The front door at Windy Banks was ajar, you say? What time of night was this? Must have been about 1, right, Ringo? Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Sulky? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town. It was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? No, it wasn't. I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky, me old mucka? How the fuck is he supposed to know? Leave me alone! There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That was what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And when these gentlemen venture into the open establishment, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim. That is pure conjecture. Ha, perhaps, but it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside. Right, that's what happened. It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was. What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say. Don't they, Ringo?
Excuse me.
Oh, whoops. Mr. Ringo Skulkin, do you have something to add? Eh? What? Something that was said just now appears to have got you thinking. Oh, well, yeah. I was just thinking about me bruv, Sulky. Oh, the one you've lost touch with. Yeah, blimey. He could be a saint sometimes, that one. Always used to give me a share of its grub when we had anything to eat. He sounds like a very kind man. Get out of it. These chips aren't mine. I'm not sharing. But once we got inside Corblami Lime, we heard a gunshot from the back room.
Hold it.
They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon. God's will often presents itself for the whim of thieves, does it? It weren't no whim, I'm dead sure of that. If it weren't Nash, it weren't, like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Nah, there's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They're not very good liars, are they? Well, you can't deny it. It led us to a bloke what looks like just like our bruv. I said cut it out. Those chips are getting a chomping today. But once we got inside, we heard a gunshot from the back room. So they didn't see the shot. A gunshot, you say? Just the one. Are you sure about that? Yeah, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that. It was Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv? The firearm used to belong to the victim himself. Yes, Mr. Windybank always used to leave his gun lying around on the counter. Right, I remember. When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds. That makes sense. Mr. Windybank always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded. That's true, I remember him saying that as well. So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can. And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked on the inside.
Hold it.
Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend has a difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there is only one other door, that of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was hidden behind the curtain and all. That's right. When we arrived, the door was most obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Eh? Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think. Oh, well, you turn out to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nasher, yeah. Suppose you have to say we ain't normal, eh? Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways when hearing a gunshot or a scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see what they might help. These gentlemen are of the latter incarnation. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former. Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night. Thank you, counsels. So I believe we all understand that door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just led after that nice and quiet. It was blood stain like we suspected. That's right, Hurley's wonderful concoction soon proved that. I don't suppose Gina couldn't have been wearing leather gloves that night, could she? Gina would never wear gloves. She's a pickpocket. She relies on being able to feel with her fingertips. I could be wrong, but I think I'm being told off. One overcoat on this one. One small box.
Hold it!
You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story? Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't I? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of me Lucy lockets. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we hate more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out of me Lucy lockets. So you'd clearly like us to believe. Come again. As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Ah. Blimey, Governor. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway. It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Herlock Sholmes. They shot the great Sholmes. I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor he'd been rushed to a hospital. The great Sholmes, that's beyond pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. Heh. And when we searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed, remnants of powder from around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. The Skulkin brothers' gun has been entered into court record. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. So there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of these revolvers, 6 side cylinders. Yes, which tells us that only a single shot had been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes. It happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windybank's door. I'll make those brothers pay. Oh, Iris is angry. I want to see an angry Iris. Yes. Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder, but the prosecution demands that the evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Objection!
Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there.
Objection!
However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of this rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windybanks that night. The court demands that all claims are affirmed as clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop that night?
Take that!
The evidence is in this portfolio. What? What on earth have you there, counsel? During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein. Yes, my lord. No more dallying then, counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves the witness unloaded a firearm at the scene?
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Windy Bank's pawnbrokery the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windybank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight, but the indicates a separate shot had been fired after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right, and while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes that the credible evidence witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Order, how does the prosecution sound, Lord Van Zeeks? If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? Because it's not pertinent to the current case on hand. But you'll forgive me for the fringing on my hallowed chalice aside at the disgust of the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals fleeing back from the street. Take it easy there, Governor. You're going to land us in the soup. We had a deal. You weren't going to get into them details. Tell him, Salky. Set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zeeks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zeeks? As it has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and the victim. I knew exactly that's where he was going. Okay, this music is the best music in this game. Ah. In other words, these two men... Can I, go to the history and see the song currently at play? Nope. Have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windybank at all. So that's it. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon. Your crimes include awful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget, attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? Huh. We're in for it now, bruv. Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbroker in question somewhat regularly. Where he's going with this. Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric, says who? Not me, don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one on the victim's shop. Good, this is what I wanted. This is going to change the outcome of the case. Oh, that's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. What is that, counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break in the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device in the night in question. Oh shit, something changed at 8:30. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite a desultory fashion. Huh. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I refer to the plan of the premises, my respective positions are here. And here. You say these cameras produce a print every half hour, but I'm afraid I failed to see how that would help the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that it would be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses are currently in the stand were not caught on camera. Heh, that's a bit of a friar trick, bruv. Lady Lux loves a skulkin'. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? Must have been just after 1. Right, bruv? Must have been, Nash, must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. We need to check if something was taken at a different time. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Fuck.